Hey everybody, it's Mark here, and I've got with me a guy who's doing very, very well with his affiliate commissions right now. His name is Kenneth, and he actually is following along a specific blueprint taught by another guy called Robbie, which we'll talk about later in this call. But essentially, the model involves finding profitable affiliate programs. Most people choose them in the health niche, but not everybody. Some people are doing well in several other niches, but most of them choose them in the health niche. And he's got a specific model for promoting them through Facebook ads that leads to people earning high commissions, not promoting them directly, promoting them through a specific type of landing page. He's got specific methods for dealing with potential problems with regards to ad account security, making sure that you keep your ad account, or if there is an issue, how to get it back, all that sort of stuff. And it's a spend money to make money model. So it's a model where he runs a lot of tests, and when he takes a test and it does well, he looks to scale it up. So that's what it is. It's a model on how to spend money to make money as an affiliate, and he's doing really well at that. So what I want to do is I'm just going to be talking to Kenneth and asking him for tips and tricks and stuff like that today. And welcome along, Kenneth.
Hey Mark, pleasure to be here. I'm grateful to meet one of the guys I've been following since 2010 or 2011. So it's great to see you in person now.
Oh, fantastic. It's great to have you here. And so you've been it sounds like if you've been around, been looking at stuff since 2010, 2011. That's a while back now, you know.
Yeah.
So when you came into Robbie's model then and started doing the paid traffic stuff, were you already running paid ads and stuff like that, or were you doing other things, or did you have a day job at that point in time, and internet stuff was sort of a thing on the side? Like, where were you at?
Right. So before I came across the Robbie's program, I was actually in a corporate for 2 years. I was working in this real estate company that they're based in Arizona. I was a community manager managing over 3,000 students. But because the reason why I took that job, it's because back in 2017, I actually tried to build this affiliate marketing business and didn't have venture, did everything on my own, which costed me $40,000 in debt.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and that's the reason why I took that job,
That's
save up money,
crazy.
pay out all of my debt. And just last year, I think I was 2021 of November, where I joined this program because I'm a very skeptical person after being burned with tens of thousands of dollars working
Yeah.
with different mentors and didn't get results. There was just one program that, you know what, let's just try it. I got nothing to lose. And when I got into the process, I fell in love with it because it's a very unique approach.
Mhm.
I thought that all affiliate marketing mentors teach the same thing. I found something that's very unique and was very helpful, and that's it. I got started with it.
They don't all teach the same thing. We all do things very differently. There's very
Yeah.
many approaches that can work well. Um, for me, like Facebook ads, there's
Mhm.
approaches there that work well. Even within that, there's multiple approaches. Do you capture the email address? Do you not? Some people go
Yeah.
direct. Some people like to build a list. Some people decide that to be an affiliate, one of the best ways for some people is to just promote a $9 product of their own, have a tiny,
Yeah.
just make small amounts there, but make most of the money now having qualified customers promoting stuff to the customer list. There's
Yeah.
different approaches. And then there's people that do it with YouTube organic. I do a lot of these myself, YouTube organic,
Yeah.
retargeting ads. There's so many sources of traffic out
Mhm.
there. There are so many methods, free traffic, whether it be a Facebook group, whether it be WhatsApp groups. There's so many, and sometimes it can be overwhelming.
Mhm.
But it is important that people know not everyone does teach the same thing at all, because there are so many different ways. I think it's similar to a brick and mortar business. There's more than one way to market a hamburger shop, and not every hamburger shop becomes McDonald's or Burger King. you know um Same thing with being an affiliate. It's everyone's got different ways that got them there. The key is that if you're learning from someone that's already making over 7 figures a year, maybe even 8 figures a year as an affiliate, I think, or at doing whatever it is you're learning from, so that you know they're up with the play with whatever method they're sharing. I think that's pretty important. Now, I'm concerned though. I'm concerned how, because I don't hear that very often. Someone actually has somehow spent $30,000 to $40,000 before they get ahead and start making money. I've never heard, like, that's a huge amount. Like how could that actually happen? Like I can't see how that. I just can't. That boggles me how that could actually happen. I'm used to hearing like the worst stories being someone that spent 3,000 and then they've started breaking even and then they started making money, maybe 5,000, but 30 to 40, like you've done very well to be brave enough to come back in and go, you know what, this other program, I'll try this one. And then obviously you're doing really well.
Right. So if I could share a little bit more details back in the day. So 2017 is I actually found a mentor that taught me how to do affiliate marketing, selling, biz off niche. And one of our primary traffic sources was email lists. And what we do is we actually go to different newsletters that sells clicks based on how big their subscribers. And there was just a little bit of gray area on how we do things. It was just because when we collect email, we send them like 5 to 6 emails a day. So that's a bit aggressive.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's super aggressive. I've never done that.
Correct.
Maybe I'd send a lot of emails on the very last day of a promotion, maybe, but yeah, normally that's
so
yeah.
Correct. So I think I spent about 10 grand just building out the list. And I'm not even profitable because at the end of the day, the money's in the list, right? Every subscriber worth something. But then again, when I get to that peak, there's one time that I already generated 40,000 subscribers, and then the mailing, the sender company just suddenly shut down my account, and I lost all the subscribers. I do have access to the emails. I do have it on the back end, but you cannot just upload it, and then start sending emails again. It doesn't work that way because you need to make sure that that comes in naturally, right? So I did it again. You know what? I'm going to take a risk, do it again, did it 3 different times. And I should have learned the lesson that, you know, if it doesn't work in a second time, don't push it again. I was just because so desperately wanted to make it work that I didn't even think about logical stuff anymore. Just
and those are big spends by the sound of it. So you're talking, okay. So it's a bit different. If you buying solo ads is a very tricky game to play. And I think that the issue is a lot of these solo ad providers, and this is not what you're doing, so don't worry, people watching, this is not what we're teaching. I'm just saying that a lot of these solo ad providers end up selling too many slots, so they treat their lists that way too. So imagine that solo ad provider is mailing their list twice a day. You're mailing the people 4 times a day, you're saying. And then what about all the other advertisers that bought solo ads? They are now advertising to those people once, twice, 3 times a day. It just gets diluted all over the show. Like it's a very, very tricky thing to find good solo ad providers that only offer very, very limited slots, and even then that the ones that are the best to me, if anyone that does want one, the ones that are best are the ones that have a minimum number of emails sent. So if they allow 1 email to be sent, that's a problem, because that means that they might be mailing their list 5 different people's opt-in pages. How far does that get diluted? But if they say, look, our minimum is you've got to buy at least 5 emails from us, I'm almost like, that's great, because that means that by the time my 5 emails have gone out, it's taken 2 weeks. So you're saying you're not mailing someone else's offer or opt-in for another 2 weeks, so you're spreading, so you're not diluting very fast, is all I mean. Like, anyway, we've gone off on a tangent there. Sorry. I felt concerned because someone watching could be sitting there going, well, how could that happen? But that's using a different model. So the model you went to was Robbie's model. So
correct.
So how much do you spend on something if it isn't working before you shut it down? Then now it's not, because that was thousands before. Now what is it?
So right now, I've learned the advertising process, and you guys know it. You love Facebook. I love Facebook because, again, because of the audience that you can reach and the potential to really tap into unique audiences. Previous business was very limited, right? If they only have 100,000 subscribers, that's it, right? But with
Yep.
Facebook, it have millions of audiences to reach. So when I do testing right now, I only do small budgets. I spend about, to test between $10 to $25
Oh
per
wow,
ad
that's
set.
lower than I
Yeah,
expected. So $10 to
yeah.
$25 and you shut it down, as opposed to I've got to test this with $3,000. that that's a big difference. 10 to
Yeah,
25. Okay.
yeah. That's
So
kind of like why my sweet spot in terms of when I launch my ad set, and if number looks great, then I just adjust the daily budget.
with that in mind, you don't mind if you have 15 to 20 failed tests then, and then suddenly you get a winner, because even if they were all 25, and let's say you had 20 failed tests, that's $500. Am I right there? That's $500. That's not that bad, $500. And then suddenly, if your next one is a winner and you scale that up, you've paid back the 500 like very quickly.
Right.
That sounds quite safe, like a smaller amount. And I'm not saying you'd have 20 failed tests anyway, but because some might do okay, you make some sales in there. It's not that they all don't make sales, right? Like, what percentage of your tests turns out to be like, look, I need to test with a bit more money there, and it
Sure.
doesn't mean that you've suddenly got a winner with only $25 spent. It could be an outlier, but
Sure.
what would be a ratio that you would normally have so people know kind of expectations?
Definitely. So if you guys if when it comes to Facebook ads, I'm not a numbers guy, but I think at the end of the day, then what the numbers says is your kind of like your profitability. We have this called KPIs, we call performance indicator, and then we base it on the cost per click, click through rate, and also the ROAS. So for example,
The
if I
ROAS is
spend
return on ad spend, for people that are wondering.
correct,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I get.
and
So you go.
yeah, so basically, the products that we're selling is the average order value is between 150 to $180. So, if the way that if we can just spend like $25 and then get a sales, at the end of the day, I'm profitable, right? So, all I need to do is just keep spending it. If the return on ad spend goes below
Yeah,
1.5, then that's how
I
where I'm
I
gonna start
to,
turning it
I
off.
totally already. Yeah, I get that part of it. All I was wondering is what percentage, like, if you were to run 100 tests. I'm not saying you're going to do 100 at once, but if you were to run 100 tests, how many of those would likely be ones that you will leave on afterwards? Like, what, like, would 1 in 10, or would it be 3 out of
Ah,
10? Like,
gotcha.
what percentage don't work out completely on the first
For
test?
sure. Makes sense. Right. So I do like a five ad set launch. So every out of five, I get about one or two that gives me
Okay.
that converts.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So out of five, one or two. So out of 10, you probably get
Yes.
three, say, then
Correct.
roughly. So 3 out of 10 might work, 7 out of 10 don't work. And then of those three, I'm guessing that you may find that 1 out of 3 and sometimes 2 out of 3 turn out good after you've spent a lot more money. Would I be correct in saying that?
Correct.
Yeah, because sometimes you get an outlier. Sometimes the true amount that you're going to make from that ad is actually you're going to spend 1,000 and you're only going to make 1,100 back. You don't know it yet because you made a sale early, but over time you start to figure out, as more spend goes through, what the truer numbers are. But you like to see a sale pop early and just go, even if one of those other ones, maybe I missed out, maybe it would have done well, but I'm just going to leave it because I'd rather just focus on the ones that have already shown something to me.
All right.
That's great. And do you find that it is better for you to focus in on a lot of different offers, or do you find that, say, 80% of the money seems to come from one offer, and then when that dries up, 80% comes from another offer, but it's always one offer that's leading the way?
Right, right. Well, actually, it's not really that difficult because the system shows you how to find winning offers. And I do, if based on my experience, I actually do test three, and I always find out one thing that converts and does well. It just depends on, again, when you run ads and looking at the stats.
Yep.
Um, I because the product itself, it's already proven to convert. That's the reason why it's on the page one
Yeah.
of the, yeah.
So, but you're saying that, because my question was,
Yep.
does most of your money come from a small percentage of your offers that you promote, like one offer or two offers, or does it come from a spread of a lot of offers that you're
Oh,
promoting?
gotcha. Just
Yeah,
one offer.
one offer. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay. So what happens if that offer tails off? Do you just switch to another offer, or do you just go really hard to try and figure out more traffic sources for that offer, or change up the ad creative?
Um, just move on to another offer, but still under the same niche. Because I already know the audiences, I already have the creatives available. It's just a matter of, okay, now it's a new product, but still under the same category.
Okay, that's great to know. Just to give people some inspiration, what would be some of your like best weeks in terms of how much you've made, just so people know
Sure.
roughly? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm too shy to share sometimes, but the best week that I made was about 72 grand.
Wow, $72,000 in a week.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people don't earn that in a year. That's US dollars. And what would be a profit ratio on that? Like how much percent of that is actual profit?
Yeah, sure. So the beauty about the model was didn't really have a lot of overhead costs because at the end of the day, we get penny commission. So it's kind of like minus the ad and whatever's left is just your profit. So I keep about 30 to 40%.
30 to 40%. So
Mhm.
that would mean that it's somewhere over, maybe I'm top of my head, I'm thinking that's around $25,000.
Yes.
That's pretty solid. And some people may say, hey, I've heard of people making 100%. They spend 1,000, they make 1,000. And I'll say that's correct. They would have made $7,000 that week if they're spending 1,000, make 1,000. But as your spend goes up, even the most profitable ads, they're going to be exploring a lot of audiences that are wider and wider, so that return on ad spend is going to drop. So just so people are aware, it's like it's very hard to keep it at 100% rate of profit with higher ad spends, but the total dollars you are receiving, 25,000 in this case, is still much higher than that total dollars of 7,000, but there's more spent. So I'm guessing though that you scaled things up over time. Like you didn't just go gung ho and go, right, I'm going to be spending this much. You're using house money, right? Like the money that was made from a previous campaign, certain percentage of it goes back in, reinvested, so you can scale further. Is that right?
Mhm. Correct. Yeah. And just to let people know, I didn't really have a lot of money up front. It was just like a 5 grand credit card. And what I did to able to spend that much was reinvesting all of my profits back for about 2 to 3 months.
That's important people know that. The people that get the fastest starts or do the best tend to reinvest everything. I did that when I started my online business. Everything I made, I just kept reinvesting it back in, not necessarily to ad spend. I was reinvesting back into hiring people. I was hiring students working 10 hours a week for me each, just doing stuff for me, writing articles, stuff like that. One way or another, reinvestment is quite important if you want to have the bigger results. So I totally see where you're coming from there.
Mhm.
What about in terms of um niches? What are your favorite niches to go into?
Right. So when I started last year, I think I started in January. So I've heard like, okay, it's January, New Year's resolution. So I believe it was a weight loss season. So I didn't really test a lot of niche. It was just like, okay, I like to try weight loss because again, it's the weight loss season, and that after a few testing, it actually took off. So the opportunity just came in naturally.
Nice.
I feel like I got lucky with that one.
No, it is a
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar niche.
Mhm.
It's crazy. Like if I go to an affiliate summit type event and there'd be like 4,000 people there, and let's say 2,000 of them are doing at least 6 figures a year, and some of them are doing 7 and some are doing 8 figures a year, like a lot of successful people. And I ask them what niche they're in, and I'll get at least 50% of them will say weight loss, or at least a
Mhm.
health niche. Like it's
That's
so
awesome.
big. So many of the people succeeding are in those niches. It's not entirely surprising that, and I know that because Robbie has done well in those niches, a lot of people follow in his footsteps when he does the training. However, his stuff does still work for many other niches. People should realize that, like whether people have done his program and done really well in the how to read niche, for instance. So you might not have thought of that kind of a niche. There are many other kinds. It could be language learning, it could be something else. It's just that this is a big and broad niche. So there are more audiences that it can go well with. What would you say were the biggest challenges that you've faced?
The biggest challenges is I think it has to do with just tracking, and because a lot of the stuff that we do are redundant. So sometimes you just kind of like, I want to do something different, but when you try to do something different, your cash flow kind of like drops down. So just keeping myself in the right mindset and not motivated, but have the ability to really stay consistent on testing stuff, on launching ads, on um, creative's part. Again, because this model doesn't really require a lot of um, not experience, but I'm saying like areas where I gotta be the operations manager, I gotta be an accountant. This is a
Yep.
very, very focused acquisition base. So you're just gonna be doing the same thing. And yeah, that's it. Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah, I
hope
get
that makes sense.
no, it makes sense because especially like a lot of people, they've done all the stuff and it's making money, and now they want to do this new thing or something different. Like they feel like, okay, I've done this, I'm succeeding with this. Now can I do something different or creative or something? And just being able to be disciplined enough to go, no, what works for you already, just keep doing the same thing over and over, scale it. And then if you really want to do something different, now you've got to hire somebody to do this
Yeah,
because this still needs doing because this is working.
correct.
Um,
Correct.
some people can make a bunch of money and then get lazy and stuff. And it's
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. You've got to keep sticking at it, rinse and repeat for a while. I think that's definitely a big key. Um,
Definitely.
and spend time looking at what's working and not trying to fix what isn't working. That is what your little, because sometimes people are like, I really want to fix that thing that's not working because I like that thing. Like I like that ad that I made. I really want it to work or something like that. And sometimes you just got to let it go. Like, so that's your pet project. The market hasn't decided that it's a thing to keep spending your time in. If you keep spending your time in what's working, then you'll grow faster. So are you finding that you're getting consistent results? I know 78,000 was your best week, but are you still every week doing, say, over 10,000?
Correct. It's because of I start, one of the things that I'm taking down notes on the things of what works and not doing the same mistake again. That's the biggest thing that I took away from 2017 after I lost a lot of money. I'm never going to be dumb again. I'm not going to jump into any shiny object, just focus and really make better, efficient systems in place.
Yep.
And so that if there's any challenges I go through, let's say, okay, stop converting for a week now. Now I have a notes to look at. What could be the possibilities why this ad is not working, right? So now I'm more systematic and I'm not really trying, but it's more strategic this way. To now I can easily predict, okay, next week I'm going to make this much, and I will, because again, because of the process and system that I have have in place.
And out of interest, do you, because everyone has a different answer to this, to be honest. Like, do you do better with, say, USA based traffic, or do you do better with non-USA based traffic for yourself?
Most, yeah, 99% of my buyers are coming from the US.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I definitely asked people who have said the opposite because I think, and then that's not to say either is right or wrong. For me, in some niches, I found it to be better to switch US off because it's very competitive. And sometimes it works better. And then sometimes it's better to leave it on and have both. And then sometimes it's better to switch the rest off and only do the USA. So I was just interested, it's almost like just finding out what another person's discovering there. Do you focus on one gender alone, or do you focus on both genders?
So I did do split test, and because when you see the product and watch its video, I also recommend if you guys try to sell something, I want to understand if what this product is all about, who's targeting, and it's kind of like I want to picture in my mind that I know exactly who's this ad talking to, and with that, most of the time I found was like women.
So yeah, and women in weight loss, they make up 80%
Correct.
of the weight loss industry. So it's not surprising. But also I have seen many people do well only targeting men if the offer suits, because of the fact that the amount you have to spend on women is also higher as an advertiser cost, because they do convert more to that kind in that niche. So,
Correct.
I'm just interested, not because it's not right and wrong. And I think your answer was actually very good, because you were saying you're looking also at the offer itself. If the offer is just talking to women all the time and all the examples of women, then that's going to do worse to men anyway, regardless of the percentage of that niche where they come from. And if the offer was only talking to men, then even if 80% of the weight loss market is women, if that offer's talking to men, it's going to sell to men a lot better. So, so I think that's important.
And I tested both. I also get sales out of men. Don't get me wrong, but I just love to spend where I can get the best ROI at the end of the day.
Yeah, return on
So,
investment
and yeah,
for people
correct.
wondering. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes total sense. Do you collect email addresses and follow up with people and stuff, or do you go, no, I'm just going to have a landing page that has a bunch of stuff on it, helpful info, whatever, and then links to the offer directly?
Correct. It's more like an advertorial process where traffic, lender, offer.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Cool. Okay, so what would you say to anybody that was thinking of joining in on the call that I'm about to have with Robbie, that where he's going to go over his system? This is the new edition of his system. He's going to be focusing in on getting people to to become like you, a ClickBank Platinum. A ClickBank Platinum, by the way, means that somebody is making over $250,000 a year in affiliate commissions through the ClickBank platform. What would you say to somebody that was considering joining that workshop, about reasons why
Sure.
they perhaps should join it?
Got it. Well, first is because this business works for me. I just suggest to people, if you're looking for more time and freedom, I've done a lot like ecom, trading. Like I'm the guy who's at that shiny object. Like, I'll love to try different things, but at the end of the day, I found more freedom and profit doing this model. It's because it's just very simple and it's very straightforward and it's scalable at the end of the day. I just don't want to worry about customer support, reaching out to people, fulfilling orders and stuff.
Mm.
If someone could do it for me and I can just focus on income producing activities, then that's it. I'm in. Sorry, I lost my thought there.
No, you're
But
good. Yeah, and when it comes to this sort of model, who is it not for? Who would you say, this is probably not for you if this is you?
okay, so it's not for you if you're like kind of like if you're a people person, then you're, I'm not saying not techie, but there's some like just different personalities. There's just some people just want to work with people and that's how they want to make money, for example, real estate. But I'm kind of more like an introvert kind of guy who I just want to be behind the desk and not be bothered and then banking a lot do
And
that's
that's
all.
why that's one of the reasons you think it works quite well for you, because you're a little bit introverted and you're able to sort of do this, and you do this in your own time without having to be on the phone with people and stuff. You could just do it all by yourself if you felt like it.
Correct. Because I've been in both shoes with network marketing. done that too. And I love people, but at the end of the day, you get tired, you get exhausted, and I just set some intention last year that this is exactly what I want to do, and I want to find a business that will work for me instead of me working on it.
I would also say I don't think it's for you if you are you don't have some sort of budget to spend. You know, like if you don't have a couple of $1,000, and I know it's not going to necessarily cost that, you might be making profit after your first 300. But what if things don't go right and you end up going through all of these tests? You don't want to run out of runway too quickly. So if you don't have money to spend on paid ads, this probably isn't for you either, you know. But if you're someone that's looking for, you'd love a model where you could spend money to make money. You could start with a relatively limited budget. It's not like you have to have hundreds of thousands, but you want to have at least a couple of thousand ready so that you could run like these tests, like you're saying, $25 a test. Just keep testing 25 like you do. Some people do it with $60 a test, whatever. But the small tests, relatively speaking, if you've don't have any funds, this is not really right. This is for people that have got the funding to be able to get started, because you can always snowball, of course. Once you've got money spent making money, you can reinvest and use that cycle of reinvestment to grow things further like you have. So in 1 year, you've gone from a very, very small budget to over 10,000 a week, 78,000 in your best week. You know, so it shows how things can scale later. But you know, it's a long-winded way. So of saying it, I think it is ideal for people that have at least something to spend and are not on their last few $100s. It's not for the desperate. It's for the people that are ready to sink their teeth into something, and they have a little bit ready to go with. Would you agree with that, by the way? This
I do 1,000%. So if you can just set aside some funds, and that's what I did. That's why I paid off all of my debts and build up my credit. So when an opportunity shows up, then I'm ready. I'm ready not only to test it and say, you know what, I'm going to do it to the next one, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work, make profit, reinvest, and scale.
Okay. So with all that in mind, I just highly urge people to jump on the workshop. I'm running one with Robbie. He's going to share with the exact model that Kenneth has been using, the exact same model. You're going to get to see on screen what he's doing, you know, the big 10,000 foot overview of how the method works. And you can decide for yourself whether you want to go further with it, or whether you're like, no, this isn't for me. But one way or another, you'll know what it's all about and how it works. You'll see case study examples and so forth. And I highly recommend anyone that's half interested in this, that doesn't fit into those categories of who it's not for, as we were just discussing, that you jump in and you join us on this particular workshop. The link will either be in the description below, or it'll be linked below this video, depending where you are accessing it from. I just want to say a big thank you, Kenneth, for being here today, for being open, honest, candid, and just sharing everything. You've answered everything I've thrown at you. So I just want to say a big thank you for being here, because you don't have to do this. Like, you could just be sitting there doing well, not sharing anything. You didn't have to do this. So I just want to say a big thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mark. And it's actually, I thank you as well for giving me this opportunity to talk to your audience. I just learned this from my previous mentor, where I used to work at 9 to 5, that the universe doesn't do debt. So whatever you give back is something that will come back to you tenfold. So I always believe that, and I think I credit my past mentors for setting up me for success. And I think this is the only way for me to give back. And I know that great things that will come in my way. But again, thank you for inviting me here to share my success.
Fully agree. I say that all the time. You help as many other people get to where they want to be, and one way or another, it all comes back to you in roundabouts and tenfold, maybe over time. It's a great attitude to have. So yeah, thank you once again for being here. For everyone watching, join us on the workshop and take action with what you learn. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.